Hello friends, welcome to the fifth tutorial of our series Excel dashboard from Tally Prime data. This tutorial I will demonstrate how to create bill-wise ledger outstanding report of Tally, and additionally I will create a report calculating weighted average credit days, which will help to determine how much of your funds are really blocked. So let's start. Let us start by importing relevant data first. So I will go to data tab, get data from text CSV. I will go to my utility folder, and from here we require a file called trn bill. Let me press import and I will load it. So let me explain you the data. Okay, this is nothing but bill wise breakup for your voucher entries. So you will get rows only for debtors and creditor, and that too if you are enabled bill wise tracking in the Tally. Let me show you few rows to understand this. Okay, now let us go through the data first. So there are various columns like ledger. So this would be party ledgers like sundry debtor or creditor mostly. Okay, this is bill name. Mostly this is an invoice. So if it is purchase or sale invoice, mostly this is invoice reference. Okay, amount again minus plus, minus is debit, plus is credit, and bill type. Okay, against reference, new reference, on account, and you might also get advance. Currently I don't have advance. Now on account is just irrelevant because it just shows that for specific voucher you are using on account, you are not using referencing system. So these rows are irrelevant for us. If you require it you can keep it, but I will filter this out. So I will right click here, okay, edit it, and I would filter out those rows from bill table. So I'll just go to name field and I will press remove empty, that means remove blank rows, and again press close and load. So this will remove the blank rows. Okay, these are the relevant rows which we require. Now let me start explaining you. So I will go to Tally and open a report called bill ledger outstanding. Let's zero in down for a party named Axe Automation. Okay, so this is my creditor. So I can see two bills outstanding for these parties. The bills which are not outstanding, fully paid, this would not appear here in the Tally. Okay. Now let me show you. Okay. So I will come to this, our Excel. Now first, so I will filter Axe Automation. So I'm left with this many bills. So my first bill is 2021 0045. Okay. 2021 0045. Let's zero in down. So I can see one new reference row and multiple against reference. Let me format this. Okay. So new reference is nothing but your purchase or sale invoice, whichever it might be. And these are receipt or payment against these bills. Okay. You can verify. So if I press enter here, I'll see that this is my purchase bill 210.44 597, 210.44 597, and these are various payments. So if I select this, I would see some 20950 000. Okay, so this is my paid amount. So various bills I can see, payment entries I can see. Now again this is a payment, so it is in minus. Again debit and credit. So credit and multiple debits. Okay, now if I sum up this, okay, total of this, I can see sum of positive 94,597 point. Okay, so if I press again enter, 94,597 positive, that means payable. Positive is credit for us, so net payable is 94,597. Okay, let's do this for another bill. If I sum up 483,987. Okay, like this we'll get. So let me clear out this filter and apply formatting. Okay, so this way you can track outstanding. And remember, for new reference, you might not even get against reference. Let's say if you have purchase invoice but no payment has been done, you will not get any against reference. So you might get for one new reference, one against reference if full payment is done or partial payment is done, and if multiple rows if multiple payments have been done. And it can happen that in single payment you could cover multiple purchase invoice, but in that scenario for against reference you will get multi breakup of that, so don't worry about that. Okay, let us pull few more columns into this tabular data in order to create reports. Okay, like voucher date, voucher number, voucher type. So I will add those columns. Date, okay, then VCH, let's say voucher type, voucher underscore type, and voucher number. Now this is an optional column if you want, but for demonstration purpose I will pull this. Now let us bring TRN voucher sheet somewhere near so that it would be very easy to switch between those sheets. Okay, let's start. Is equal to XLOOKUP, you know this, GUID, and let's try to look this GUID in TRN voucher, control space, comma, date, control space, bracket close. This is the date. Let me apply formatting of short date. Then voucher type is equal to same way GUID. Look for this GUID here and pull this voucher type from here, and voucher number also. So I already demonstrated this technique in previous videos, so I hope you are very comfortable with this. Okay, let me insert a pivot based on this table now. So I'll go to insert pivot table and press OK. So let's name this report Billwise outstanding. Okay, or you can name any, whichever report. Okay, now let's experiment by dragging few fields from the pivot table. Like let's say we want this ledger wise, so I will drag first ledger, then next we'll fine tune by bill name. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, for various parties we have various bills. Okay, now whether these are outstanding, what is the outstanding amount, we are yet to calculate, don't worry. Okay, now next I will drag field called bill type. Okay, bill type here into column against reference, new reference. Okay, and grand total, it is automatically created. And next we will drag amount. Let me apply comma formatting to this and use 1000 separators. Okay, now it follows simple thing. Okay, minus means debit, plus means credit. So like for axe automation. Okay, so now we want basically new reference here. So let me, or you can read it reverse. So we will later on try to rearrange this. So this is just for demonstration. Okay, now naturally it will sort it alphabetically. So new reference is nothing but your purchase or sale invoice, and against reference is nothing but your payment or receipt. Okay, and this is the outstanding amount. Now naturally one is positive and one is negative, so your outstanding amount, you don't have to do various plus or minus. Okay, naturally it will come. Let's verify this. So if I go to my tally, Hacks Automation, bill number 2021-0045, 2021 94,597. Okay, so we have this outstanding amount. Now in tally, you have to go for each debtor or creditor individually. Okay, this way you can have a glance of various bills outstanding. Okay, and it will show even the bills which are fully paid. So you can always filter out on the grand total. You can copy paste this data, nicely arrange, like new reference you can shift to the left, and against reference you can shift to the right, or maybe you can name invoice amount and settled amount. Okay, something like this. But this way you can always play with the pivot and try to deduce things. Okay, I know you are waiting for outstanding days. Implementing this outstanding days calculation here in the pivot table is complicated. So let me show you a very easy way to implement this. So I will try to replicate this entire report in fresh worksheet without pivot table. So let me insert one worksheet and let's name this outstanding. Can name it any. Let me explain you the logic. Now I am under assumption that this name bill reference is unique, but you can have a scenario where this might not be unique. It might be duplicated. So basically it's a permutation combination of ledger and name. So like, let's say you can use the same reference number for purchase, sale, okay, repetitively. But for the sake of simplicity, I have implemented this uniquely, okay, because I do a quality accounting. So ensure you have good quality accounting. So I will say build reference, and let me pull up unique list of this. Okay, unique list of. So you are aware of the function called unique. So this function is equal to unique. I will go to this trn bill, click here, control space, simple. Okay, this is simple list of bills. Okay, now ensure you even exclude advances, otherwise your calculation might disrupt. Okay, now first I will pull up new reference. Okay, before that we are not aware about which party this bill belongs to. So let me even pull party name, party. So I can do an XLOOKUP for this party. So XLOOKUP, look for this bill here, comma, and fetch party from this column, bracket close. Okay, now one trick I will explain you. Now if you copy paste this like this, okay, this would work. But now the issue is that, let's say if you refresh this data and number of bills gets increased, let's say it becomes 23 or 24 till 24 rows, this list get extended. This formula will not automatically extended because you manually copy pasted. So let me make this dynamic. Okay, so I will delete this and I will just only keep first row of this. Okay, now here instead of A2, if you just suffix it with hash or pound, it will automatically detect the range. Okay, now this is dynamic. If number of rows increase or decrease, this formula would automatically get spanned to those rows. Okay, so we don't have to worry about this. So bill reference, I will bold this column. Okay, bill reference party. Okay, now what is the date of purchase or sale invoice? Okay, so I will say invoice. Now before that, I think let us pull up invoice amount. Okay, invoice amount. So invoice amount is nothing but, so let's use XLOOKUP, or you can even use SUMIFS. Okay, whichever you want, is equal to, I will implement XLOOKUP. So look for this bill reference here, control space, comma, and return from here. But now this has one issue. Okay, this will pull up even against reference. So I will have to use actually SUMIFS. Okay, so sometimes you cannot use XLOOKUP. Please remember. So SUMIFS, sum range. I will go here, control space, select this amount. Okay, I will say, click here, control space, comma. So find this bill name here. Okay, and second filter, I will again go here, control space, where bill reference, comma, should be new ref. Okay, new reference. So this will capture only purchase or sales invoice. So amounts of purchase or sales invoice. So it will exclude against reference. So you can see XLOOKUP cannot handle multiple filters. You will have to make a permutation combination of column, concatenate, and then you do XLOOKUP. So SUMIFS is sometimes very easy. Okay, let me format this column. Again, let us make this dynamic. So I can erase this outstanding. It is in same sheet. Okay, and instead of A2, just suffix it with pound or hash. So this becomes dynamic. Invoice amount and invoice date. Okay, we will even need to pull up invoice date. Invoice date. Now I can reuse this. Okay, I can pretty much reuse this, but instead of, you can instead of referencing amount column, and instead of having SUMIF, we can make it max or minif, because only anyway we are going to get one row only. Okay, so I will change this to date. Okay, date. And for the safety, I will change this formula to MAXIFS. Okay, and let me format this as short date. Okay, so invoice amount, invoice date. Okay, original invoice amount, original invoice date. Now there might be a receipt or payment against respective purchase sale. Okay, so instead of having payment date, okay, we can something write settlement amount, settlement date. Okay, so settle amount, and we have settle date, settlement date. Okay, settle amount, copy paste, same this, and instead of new ref, we'll make it against refs. Okay, sorry, let me redo it. Copy paste this and just amend this. So instead of new ref, make it to against ref. Okay, so this is adjusted amount, settled amount or adjusted amount, whichever is. Okay, and settle date. Now this is very tricky. Now if you have full payment of invoice, then it is very easy that whichever date it is paid or received, it is a settlement date. But what if you have multiple payments or receipts? Okay, so for the safety, what we will do, we will take the last date, that means maximum or the latest or max date. Okay, so I will copy paste this here and again change this new reference to against reference. Okay, and let's format this to short date, and next we will have outstanding amount. Outstanding amount is nothing but difference between these, so you need to just add, not subtract. So original invoice amount plus settlement amount, so this is the outstanding amount. Okay, now let us even make this dynamic. So I will write pound here. Okay, so this way even this calculation is dynamic. So this is an outstanding amount, and outstanding days, outstanding days. Outstanding days is simple. From this date, okay, invoice date to today or year end. Like if I go to tally, so tally, so my accounting period is for financial year 20 to 21. So tally is showing me outstanding day as of 31st March 21. Okay. So what tally is doing? It is basically subtracting. So I will say is equal to date 2021, month is 3 and date is 31 minus your invoice date. Okay, so this is the outstanding days. You'll have to format this as general. Okay, number, you'll have to make it as number with no decimals. Okay, let me affix pound sign, sorry, hash or pound sign here to make this dynamic. So these are my outstanding days. Let's tally this. So for this Axe automation, this bill 355, then next bill 269, Axe automation, let me to 296. Okay, sorry, 296. This way you can calculate outstanding days. Okay, and beauty with this Excel approach is that instead of financial end date, you can even put today if you are exceeding it, and it remains outstanding further. You can have any date here. Okay, so this way you can calculate outstanding days. Now I will touch upon an interesting concept of weighted average credit dates. Okay, now in case of our debtors or sales, okay, credit is nothing but blockage of your funds. So let's say if you have cash credit limit, so your limit is blocked for that, so you will be having interest expense for those period. So I want to determine that for which bills how much amount of credit I am advancing, and same applies to the reverse. Okay, like for my suppliers I will be enjoying that credit, and for my debtors I will be advancing my credit, which is blockage. Okay, now let's start. Now ideally you could simply do a calculation something like this: settlement date minus invoice date, that is the number of days your fund were blocked or you got credit. But this would have hold true if for each invoice a full payment is done. Okay, in that scenario this calculation would run correctly, that settlement date minus invoice date. But the issue is we get payment or receipt in partially in multiple tranches. Okay, so like let's say this Axe automation, okay, and this invoice. Okay, let me zero this down. So Axe automation and bill reference number 0045. Okay, so this invoice of 210 we got payment in partially multiple times. Okay, so 45 lakhs is blocked for how many days? So if you check the date, okay, 10/4/29/4, that means for 19 days 45 lakhs were blocked. Okay, so this is my sales. Okay, then this 35 lakh blocked for 20 days. Okay, then this 55 lakhs even almost for a month, 40 days. Okay, almost 40 days. So definitely we cannot do a simple calculation of this date minus this date. Okay, so we will have to assign weights based on the amount. So we will have to calculate days, and to those we will have to assign weightage. Okay, so let's calculate how many days were elapsed from the original purchase or sale invoice. Let me filter this out. You can do it very easily. Okay, so let me add one column at the last called, let's say, credit days. Credit days. Now what I will do, I need to do a subtraction, or maybe I just need a date, or let's say settlement date. Okay, sorry, I require invoice date. For this against reference, what was original invoice date? Okay. So it is very simple. Just use a function called, let's say, MINIFS. Again, you cannot do XLOOKUP because for the same bill name, you can have new and against reference rows. So if that against reference row is at the top, it would capture wrong. Okay. So I will say MINIFS, which makes it conditional. So I will say capture this date, minimum of this date, comma, what are my criteria? Simple. This bill name, comma, should match with this. And second one is in the bill type, control space, what should be written? New ref. Let me format this to short date. Okay, now this is very clear for this. So this is my payment date and this is my invoice date. So number of days, now you are aware. Okay. And say credit days. What are my credit days? Is nothing but difference between my actual payment date minus invoice date. And in the case of purchase or sale invoice, this would come as 0 because it is on the technically same date. So automatically this would nullify in our calculations further. Okay. So now this is very precise information. If you go tax automation, this 19 days, 20 days, 40, 50. Now what we will do? So we will assign weightage, okay, to this 19 based on this. So this is our total payment received. So 45 lakhs divided by total amount. So that percentage would be our weight. Okay. Now let's implement this in our outstanding. So I will extend this report. So this was just to demonstrate. Okay. But before that, we also need to calculate weightage. So what is weighted credit period? We will have to do a multiplication of amount into credit days and then divide by total amount, total paid or received amount. So I will need one more column called amount days. Okay, amount and days multiplication. So this is nothing but is equal to this amount multiplied by credit days. Okay, multiplied by credit days. Naturally, for purchase sale, it becomes 0. So this is out of our calculation automatically. Okay, now let's start. So our amount dates. So I will just do a SUMIFS. I know there would be just one row, but let's do a SUMIF as I told. So okay, I'll have to first remove this filter. I'll go to data and clear all the filters. Okay, is equal to SUMIFS. Let's go here. This we need to sum. Okay, comma and this name. So I will say condition that this name comma should match with in the outstanding with this bill name. Okay, with this bill name. So these are our amount dates. Let's simplify this formula. I will remove the sheet reference with exclamation and affix hash or pound to it. So this would automatically span to multiple days. Okay. So this is amount days. So to have weighted average. So weighted average credit days. Okay, weighted average credit days. What is it? So I will have to divide this number by number of total amount, settle amount. So this days divided by number of total amount. So this gives us, so effectively 36 days, 36.441 days is a credit period. Okay. Again, let's affix hash to this to make it dynamic. Okay, and let's format this number so we can actually hide this column, and let's format this. So this is weighted average credit days. So now based on this, I can say that, let's say Infosys has, for Infosys, my this amount 40 lakhs, okay, 77 have been blocked for 68 days. Okay, and the outstanding amount, it is blocked for even more number of days. Okay, so for the sake of simplicity, I am excluding that. Okay, so you will have to even take into account these days while calculating. But let's say what is the credit loss? Okay, credit lost or cost of credit or credit cost. So let's say on CC account we have hypothetical rate 11%. Okay, rate of interest. So I can do a very simple calculation. So I will do a simple interest. So I will say that this amount, settlement amount, so I'll do an absolute of this, so that if it, even if it's minus, it gets positive, into PNR by 100. Okay, into number of days divided by 365 into, let's say, 11%. So I will do 11%. So this much credit is blocked, or this is the, sorry, credit cost. So on Infosys, not Infosys, Axe Automation. Okay, and even let's make this dynamic, pound, pound. Okay, so for now, Axe Automation is my vendor or supplier. So this is the credit I am enjoying. So it is not actually really cost. So you should maybe filter out just for your debtors this report. Like, let me filter out this. I will apply filter and just select my debtors. Let's say Infosys, Tech Mahindra, Wipro, and TCS. Okay, so these are my debtors. So what is effective credit cost? 3,61,000. Okay, so this is, so you can make some calculation like this and try to check. So maybe you can even make a pivot table that which party is consuming up your credit. So you can simply go and do something like this. Okay, insert a pivot table based on this. Okay, and let's say I will drag parties here and cost of credit, and let's filter out the parties. Okay, so I just want Wipro, Tech Mahindra, TCS, Infosys. And let's format this nicely. So you can even sort this. Let's say you can even sort based on amount. Okay, in, let's say, descending, sorry, descending based on amount. Okay, so Infosys is using most of our credit, then followed by Tech Mahindra. Okay, this way you can have very precise information. I know you have some questions in your mind. Let me try to answer a few of them. First question is that, is this calculation of weighted average credit foolproof? No, one thing was left, which I already told you. Okay, so I just calculated weighted average for the payment or receipt. Okay, but what about the outstanding amount? So what you need to do, you need to multiply that outstanding amount with outstanding number of days, add it up, and then divide it by invoice amount to get actual credit days. Okay, which was completely excluded. So please ensure you can add that calculation to it before dividing by that amount. Okay, second thing is, what about the scenario where we have advances? Okay, in the advances, story totally changes. So advances are generally your receipt and payments. Okay, and against those advances there is a against ref, which is purchase or sale. Okay, the story totally changes and you cannot accommodate this in this scenario. Okay, so you'll have to prepare separate sheets for that. I would say it would be very complicated to handle that. So that is a pain. Prepare a separate sheet and do it. Okay, third question and very interesting question. What is what if I want to refresh this? Simply go to data tab and locate a refresh button and press refresh all. Okay, so you might be wondering that why we are making so much calculation and why to take so much pen. Okay, so just take this pen once, and after that the story is very simple. Refresh all and everything would be refreshed. Ensure that you refresh your CSV files from Tally time to time. Lastly, a standard appeal. So please like the video, share this with your friends and colleagues, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And please stay tuned to the channel for more such videos.